Good morning, happy Friday. And this is actually the end of the third week with Coffee with a Farmer. It's hard to believe. We're here this morning with Vincent Ricchiuti from PR Farms and Enzo olive oil company out of Fresno. And we're gonna talk to him in just a bit. But I'm really appreciative of the people who've been reaching out to me via Facebook and email to let me know from the public that have found our YouTube channel and that are listening to these awesome Coffee with a Farmer Resource Manager chats. So one of the people that emailed me yesterday said, you know, I don't even know what the farms program is. Like, what is this thing? What is this school that you have? So I wanted to take a little bit of time this morning and to talk about what the Farms Leadership Program is and why we're doing what we're doing in this Zoom opportunity that we have right now during the pandemic. To explain what it is. So the Center for Land-Based Learning is a nonprofit organization. We're based out of Winters, California, which is near Davis, which is near Sacramento, if you're not sure where Winters is. And we've been running statewide education programs for high school students in agriculture and natural resource management since 1993. So it's been going for a while, and the Farms Leadership Program actually did start in 1993. It was started by a farmer, our founder, Craig McNamara, and his wife, Julie, and they really wanted to get students out, high school students, out to the farm and to different kinds of opportunities to see the broad array of agriculture and natural resource conservation opportunities and in a hands-on way. And they created a program that was, students would come out once a month, so that over the course of an entire school year, students were coming out 6, 7, 8 times and going to different locations and learning about different parts of the agriculture industry. And since that time, we've grown a lot. That started in the Sacramento region with Yolo County, Sacramento County, and even had a school from San Rafael in that very first program back in '93. And starting in '98, when I was hired, we expanded the program throughout the state. And so now what you're hearing from every day is our coordinators who run these programs, and they're what we call cohorts or regions around the state. So there's groups of students, normally, not during a COVID-19 crisis, pandemic, who are going out once a month to different field days in their region. And they're learning about all of the issues in their region, and they're learning directly from people in the industry. Since the last 5 years, we've added actually a whole second year of programming called Farms Advanced, where students come back from year 1, they go on to year 2. If they want to, they can apply, and they get even more in depth into the issues in agriculture and environmental sciences. They study a specific issue. And actually this year's topic was labor, which was a really good topic to be studying. And it still is a really good topic to be studying, especially now, given all of the challenges that we have during this COVID-19 pandemic. And then we also continued to expand and went into job shadows and paid internships in the industry so that we can help get these students from where they might just be exposed and didn't even know that there was all these kinds of jobs, all the way into career opportunities. So that's a short, real quick introduction. There's a lot more to the program, but I wanted to go ahead and start with that today so people who are listening even for the first time know a little bit. We're doing this series, obviously, because we can't the schools are shut down. We can't bring the students together once a month like we normally would all around the state. So we're attempting to find ways to still reach out to as many people as possible, and now also the public. So I want the coordinators to introduce themselves and to also tell us what kind of their favorite part about the farms leadership is, because they are the ones doing it on the ground literally every year and have all kinds of great stories. So we'll start out as usual in the north with Dana.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dana Baker. I'm the Tehama County Farms Leadership Coordinator. We have both a Farms Leadership Program and an advanced program. I'm coming to you from Red Bluff. But I think probably my absolute favorite part about this program is not only that the students are able to gain industry experience on a real hands-on way, which is something that they don't necessarily get. But it also is just partnering them and letting our community show that we are really committed to turning out great citizens, great kids, to be part of our communities, and not just, we're not just looking at the immediate future. We're looking and talking to them about after they've gone and gotten an education, or if they're deciding to just come straight out of school and go into the workforce, what it is to be part of a community. And a lot of times we end up seeing these kids coming back. And so we want to show them the opportunities that are here. And I think it's a great builder for just the sense of community that we want to get these kids out and, meet our mentors and really start building that relationship.
Awesome. Thank you, Dana. Joseph.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Montoya. I'm the Farms Leadership Coordinator for the Sacramento Valley, North State, and San Joaquin Valley. And I would say that for me, my connection, my passion to agriculture comes from my passion for food, cuisine, different breeds of different produce, and just how that breaks down. But really, Mayor Kevin Johnson, former Mayor Johnson, sort of renamed Sacramento as the Farm to Fork capital, formerly the City of Trees. And that was really cool, but there was no real connection to, just like all of these farms that Sacramento is surrounded by. Sacramento being the capital of California. It's cool to know about that, but I never had a true introduction. I never felt close to it. I never felt attached to it. So, me at my age, getting that introduction and being able to share that with students in high school, much earlier in life, I think is really great. And, to piggyback off of Dana's point, it really establishing that sense of community and just, knowing where your food comes from and knowing the people that make our food. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Joseph. Good point about America's Farm to Fork capital and how most people are not connected. Okay, Katie, you're up.
Good morning. My name is Katie Wortman. I am the Central Valley Farms Leadership Coordinator here in Fresno. And my favorite part of getting the students out of the classroom and interacting with partners, to see them kind of out of their shell, is really important to me, kind of just getting students to talk to adults that they wouldn't normally talk to on a regular basis. And I really appreciate Vincent being here today. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Life skills that they're going to need for wherever they go next, whether it's in agriculture or not. Okay, Romy, you're up.
Good morning. My name is Romy Wattenbarger. I'm the Kern County Farms Coordinator here in Bakersfield. And I would agree with Katie, just getting the kids out of the classroom and letting them get out of their shell and ask questions that they wouldn't typically do, or just being hands-on. I think that's a huge idea. It just gets them the idea of what they want to do, or if they do something one day like, oh, maybe I can do this, or, just hands-on, just being in the field or practicing giving shots to oranges we've done. Just the kids loved it. Just hands-on things that they wouldn't do originally. So
awesome. Thank you, Romy. And Letty, you are our last coordinator.
Hello, good morning. My name is Letty Hernandez, and I run the program in Monterey and Santa Cruz County. My favorite part about this program is what it stands for, Farming, Agriculture, Resource Management for Sustainability. For me, being able to see how our partners in both areas of conservation and environmental science, plus in ag, how they also see how important it is to work together on protecting our land and making sure that we can continue to grow food as efficiently as we do.
Awesome.
And I wanted to say, anybody who has joined us here, welcome. And if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat, that would be great.
Thank you, Letty. All right, and yes, I definitely want to make sure that students, whoever's joined us, knows that they can ask questions at any time, and we will try to get to them throughout the course of our time. So now it's time to introduce Vincent. He's been waiting patiently, learning a little bit more, I hope, about the Farms Leadership Program. So Vincent Ricchiuti, who is with PR Farms and Enzo Olive Oil Company, they have been a partner for the Farms Leadership Program for many years now, and we've greatly appreciated your support and your willingness to have students out on the farm, at the processing facility, and so on. So you are the Director of Operations for both PR Farms and for Enzo Olive Oil Company. But before we talk about your job, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get to, I mean, I know it's a family company, but tell me how you ended up where you are today and a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me this morning. And Mary, and I again, thank you for that introduction to the program. And as you've said, we've been involved with the program for a number of years, but I've never been able to fully hear the full story. So I appreciate hearing that today. I appreciate that. My story, I'll try and keep this part as short as possible. I grew up, I'm the fourth generation in our family's company. I grew up always knowing that, that I would probably end up doing something similar to what I'm doing now. I went to Fresno State, majored in agricultural business at Fresno State. However, going there, my job, we have a rule in the family that, if you're going to come back and work for the family, you need to go work somewhere else before you do so that you understand what the word boss means. And when people tell you to do things, you do them. That for me, I worked for Fresno State football as assistant director of football operations for the under Coach Pat Hill at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was there from 01 to 05, handling team travel, recruiting, all sorts of everything being thrown at me. So from there, I actually came to a pretty good sized fork in the road. I interviewed with a couple of NFL teams, and I thought, hey, maybe I'm going to go down this NFL path, and working in football. And when I came home from the NFL Combine, our head coach, Coach Hill, kind of grabbed me by the ear, took me into his office and said, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you could either spin your tires in the NFL or go back and work for the family business and make an immediate impact. And that obviously sat with me. And long story short, here I am. That year, I immediately that following year when I went to work for the family business, I really dug in, and one of the things that we started adopting immediately was technology, and getting our farm and our business really ramped up with technology and updating a lot of things, and that's still one of the things that is a driving force for how we do business here. Whether it's out in the field with cutting edge technology, or the accounting department or sales departments, we're always looking at new ways to crunch data and use it to make smart decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no idea. I did not know about your football history, so that's very good to know. And I would imagine that experience that you gained there, even though it's a completely different industry, obviously, the logistics and the operations of so many different things probably has helped you a great deal in your role as director of operations, whether it's a farm or whatever, right? It's still operation. You're still having to put a lot of different pieces together.
Yeah, there's no question. I was blessed to be able to be, in a staff room with some great leaders, and every single day, and to be, in that room at such a young age, and for them to trust me and be able to giving me the responsibilities that I had, was unprecedented, but I learned an immense amount. And there's a lot of similarities between, football and farming. If you think about it, we both have seasons, we both have off seasons, we both have a lot of things that are needed to ramp up and to stay ready on a weekly basis during the season. And then there's your off season where there's a whole list of things that you need to get done going into your next season. So there's definitely a lot of things, a lot of parallels that you wouldn't have thought about that I have been able to capitalize on those experiences and bringing them here.
That's great. I love that, because a lot of times students think that they have to have this path, right, that is very linear, and they have to do this job and then this job and then just, and so we love talking to people like you. It's a big part of the Farms program is to hear people's stories of how they got into the role and what kinds of experiences were really valuable for them, and that all kinds of experiences usually are very valuable for different reasons. I'd like to shift a little bit and ask you to talk about PR Farms and Enzo Olive Oil Company and kind of some of the history, and then also where you are today in terms of this travel of this family business that you're now a part of.
Sure. So PR Farms, like I said, I'm the fourth generation to be part of PR Farms, and you're predominantly now in 2020 an almond growing, hulling, and shelling operation, totally vertically integrated with the almond products. We were not there a number of years ago. We've grown almonds for almost 50 years now, but back in 2008, we came to a crossroads. Again, this was 2 years out of me being out of college, and we were very heavily in stone fruit, peaches, plums, nectarines, apricots, all those types of things. If you lived in the Fresno, Clovis area, and you asked, hey, what does the Ricchiuti family do? The answer would have been, no, they grow stone fruit, they grow peaches, and those types of things. In 2008, it was 40% of our business. So almonds were the other 60. So people thought of us as a tree fruit company, but the real engine of the company was still almonds at that point. However, in 2008, I actually gave a presentation to our families. We have an annual family board meeting where every department gives a presentation on what they're doing, what they've done for the year, their goals for the next year, presents it to the family, and then we make decisions for that year. That year, I actually made myself a presentation to give, and the presentation was that we should get out of stone fruit. And my thought was, for me to be able to see where labor was going, the amount of competition that we had in stone fruit, to be honest, and upfront, the losses that we were taking at that point. Because it's a high labor crop, very specialized. You throw away a lot of fruit. You got to pick it multiple times. There's the laundry list of reasons to get out was not short. Mm-hmm. And so we, at that day, that point in time, we talked about it, and ultimately we made the decision to transition out of stone fruit that day. And it was definitely sped up. Faster than what we had originally planned by the recession that hit that following year. But in a year, a little over a year, we pulled out 2,500 acres of stone fruit and repositioned that and grew it to grow our almond business. Also in 2008, in that same time frame, we made the decision to go into the olive oil business. We carved out of that the acreage that we were pulling out. We carved out about around 300 to 400 acres of land that we wanted to start growing super high density organic olives for olive oil. And the reason we were, a couple of the reasons that we chose olive oil, very similar to almonds. They're in the sense that mechanically harvested, low labor, and we can get a lot done without a lot of people. And so one of the other things is that how it caught our eye was the fact that Fresno State at that point had a test block of 20 acres of the super high density. So we were able to kind of watch that. My dad's on the board at Fresno State, and we were able to watch it and really get tuned into that business and kind of understand that at that point in time, it was about 98% of the olive oil consumed inside the United States was being imported from Europe.
Yep.
And so you look at those numbers and you say, there's a lot of market share for us to go grab. And so that coupled with my love for, Joseph mentioned his love for food and that kind of thing. Me too. That is probably my largest passion is cooking and learning about food in restaurants and all those types of things. So that was a big factor in me really wanting to go down this. I also think that it's one of the reasons why the brand is successful and it has the voice that it has. We have very strong partnerships with restaurants and chefs across the country, and my passion for food and cooking, really you can see it throughout the brand. So in 2008, we planted those olive trees. At the first round of olive trees. And then November of 2011, we had our first harvest. It was I think either the day before Thanksgiving or 2 days before Thanksgiving that year. And we had no idea what in the world we were doing. I'll never forget standing there in the mill on day one thinking, what in the world did I get ourselves into? My life is over. This is horrible. And we had breakdown after breakdown after breakdown that day. And we ended up having to retool the whole line for the next harvest because ideas that we had did not work out. And we thought we were going to outsmart the people that were telling us what to do. Well, for that next year, we went back to doing exactly what they told us to do.
I guess they knew what they were talking about. Had a little more experience.
Yeah, they had a little bit more experience than we did. But since then, the brand is really kind of starting to take off. We've won over 220 awards from around the world for our olive oil for taste and quality. Just this year, we were the only American olive oil to win in Italy in a top-tier organic olive oil competition. We were the only American oil that won a gold medal. Well, that won anything, and we won a gold medal. And so we won awards in Japan and anyway, so we've won a lot of awards. This year, we take on the olive oil side. We also take we talk about. I can go into how kind of leeway into how the
COVID-19.
It
would be great to tell folks about the way that you market the olive oil and the different marketing streams and kind of what's going well right now, what maybe is skyrocketing, what's not doing so well, and just maybe some of your future plans for the brand. Sure.
So we typically, for Enzo, on the Enzo side of things, we have 4 buckets of ways that we typically sell our olive oil. The first bucket would be your traditional grocery. Through a distributor, shows up at Save Mart or Whole Foods or Vons, Safeway, those types of stores across the country. That's bucket 1. Bucket 2 would be small specialty retailers across the country. The likes of Williams-Sonoma. Or your favorite cheese shop or deli or those types of stores, smaller mom and pop stores. Well, Williams-Sonoma is not small mom and pop, but it's a genre of store that I'm talking about. The third would be food service, where we actually sell directly to restaurants, bakeries, companies that are using our product to make another product, whether it's your dinner or a loaf of bread. And then the last bucket is direct to consumer. It's the bucket that we spend the most time marketing, and it's the one that, to be honest, it's the one that we make our money with. You're able to own what we call own our customer. When we are able to market to that person that's actually making the purchase and they come to our online store or into our retail shop here locally, that's where we were able to capture 100% of that dollar. And we're not sharing it with a broker, we're not sharing it with a distributor, we're not sharing it with another store. We're able to really capture the full spectrum of the dollar. So now transitioning to the different aspects.
We'll go another 5 or so minutes, so feel
What's
free.
that?
I said we'll go another 5 or so minutes, so feel free to expand upon that side. Yep.
Yeah, so now how COVID has affected our business on each one of those channels has been interesting is not probably the right word, but it has been interesting to watch unfold. And you can probably guess which ones are thriving and which ones are not. But the grocery channel is still strong, still doing as we were, or if not better, in that channel. Unfortunately, the small mom and pop stores that we took up a lot of our business has kind of dried up at this time. They've either closed, because they're not considered essential, or the ones that are essential are just they're not selling as much as the grocery stores are. The food service, the food service tier, not doing good at all. I think we're only servicing 4 or 5 restaurants right now. They're the ones that are buying from us at kind of regular clips, but it's nowhere where we were. And then the last one, the direct to consumer. I'm very happy to talk about that one, and it's sales are thriving. We're doing very well there. The month of March, March 2020 versus March 2019, sales were up 200%. This month for April, we're trending in that same direction. Month-to-month comparison, April 2020 versus March 2020, we're up over 100% compared to March. So sales are good. A lot of new first-time buyers, which is interesting to watch, people that are buying from us for the first time and taking us into their home. And it's actually been interesting to see too, those people that bought in March, have come back in April and are buying again, which is, as somebody that's making a product, it makes you feel good. It means that they liked it, they trust it, and they're coming back for more. And so I brought a piece of how we market to those consumers, direct to consumer, and we do it a little bit differently than you might think. We don't spend money with Google. We don't spend money on AdWords. We spend very little on ads on Facebook and Instagram. We're there on Instagram. If you want to follow us, we're at Enzo Olive Oil. And we do, I think, a very good job of marketing on our Instagram, but it doesn't necessarily turn to dollars. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to communicate with our customers, show them what's going on our ranch and on our farm and our store, what we're cooking in our kitchen, what our chefs are making. But how we really dive into getting to people is we actually print a catalog. And we print a catalog and we do 2 major resets a year.
Old school.
Yeah, so we design what I believe is a beautiful catalog, and we mail it out, 8 times a year. But every catalog is a little bit different. So like that is Orecchietti with our Eureka lemon olive oil. That's something that we made at home, photographed, and then put in our catalog. We tell stories with our catalog to explain to people, how to use our product. We also started making our own almond butter, and so we tell the story of our California almonds and how we're making the almond butter. But that piece there that's how we drive sales, and we mail that to people's homes. And then the point of it is we're giving you a gateway into our store, into our family that you can read, look through. But then the ultimate goal is that you would then go online and make a purchase. Mm-hmm. During this time, these interesting times that we're in, we are doubling down on this model. we had planned on sending out, well, I mean, we were sending a catalog out on April 20th, so in about 3 days it's going to hit in people's homes. When I saw that what was happening and that sales were spiking and people were really going online and buying, we made a strategic decision to double down on our mailings, and we increased our mailings by 50%. So we'll now be mailing 55,000 catalogs on this next week. Well, they're mailed. They'll be hitting people's homes this next week, with the goal that then they then go online and get some of their pantry staples from our family and what we're making. You know, our target market is, our demographic is women that are 60 or over, that, you know, have the disposable income to be able to purchase olive oil through the mail, or our jams, or our almond butter, or our pestos, or whatever the product is, and stay with our brand. Now, we're obviously seeing different demographics that are purchasing right now. It's kind of a little bit all over the board. We've had some great press in the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of months. We're in the April issue of Food and Wine magazine as a recommended
Congratulations.
olive oil. Thank you. We were listed just this last week by Bon Appetit as a top olive oil pantry staple, and Eating Well magazine. It's just kind of, we were in Forbes. We were listed in 2 separate Forbes articles this week. And so, like, the press keeps rolling in for us, which is we're very, very, very grateful for. But I think that the reason that that's happened is we put a lot of hard work into the brand, and we make a excellent product. You know, we always say, you know, we market to people. Marketing, story, they always get people on that first purchase. But the second, third, fourth purchase, you better have a good product that tastes good. Otherwise, they'll never be back. So that's a really important thing to understand.
Well, I'd forgotten about your beautiful, like, almost a magazine there, but when you put it up, I remembered it because it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, do you guys do that in-house, or do you hire a company, a PR company, or to do that for you? And you know, because one of the things we think about, again, when we're talking with students, is all of the different jobs, right, in agriculture. And plenty of people love food, and they love just, you know, marketing of food and how they could work for different companies in this vein, whether it's for a company like Enzo, or if you hire, you know, an outside company to do that. So how do you do the marketing piece? Is it inside?
So it's a combination. So we have internal marketing people that are on our team every day. We have you know, our sales team. All those people are internal. Now, the designer of the catalog that, you know, is out, you know, he's a freelance guy. He actually lives in New Orleans. He takes all of our photography, and he puts the final product together. Internally, though, we storyboard the whole catalog, every issue, all 8 issues. So we actually, on this wall behind me, when we start doing it, we're cutting, pasting different recipes, different things. That whole wall is covered with, it's a real life Pinterest board that we then put together. What goes on what page? And then we write the copy, you know, the captions, all those things, and then we send it off to the designer that bundles everything together and makes it look beautiful. So it's a hybrid, I guess you would say.
Okay, no, that makes sense. And I mean, I love going to your store. Absolutely love. I haven't been there for a little bit, and I probably won't be there for a little bit, unfortunately. Katie can go, and she can go check and see what all is going on there. But it sounds like also, and you brought this up, that you've got a lot of folks who are in college, who are working for you at the store and doing a lot of the packaging and shipping. And we really, you know, it's great to hear of companies that are hiring college students. Obviously, you have such a strong connection to Fresno State, but it's something that we also try to get the information out there to some of our alumni about local ag companies that are hiring people their age. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No doubt.
And
Yep.
on that note, I think you're going to make me go online and do some ordering. I'm not in the 60+ demographic, at least not yet. But I'm definitely I mean, everything that I love your products, and like I said, I don't think I'm going to be getting to the store anytime soon. So we will let you go today because we know how busy you are, Vincent. We're so appreciative again of the many years of Farms Leadership Program support. And say hello to your dad. He is quite the storyteller. I miss coming in and haven't seen him for about a year, but usually it takes him a while to get there. And then once he's there, we go way beyond our normal time for our meeting because he's told me a whole bunch of stories, and I love that.
He's a storyteller.
Yeah. So thanks again, and we again appreciate everything, and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to seeing all those articles and all of those magazines. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, everybody, and stay safe. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Vincent.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.